Good evening. Hi, Sarab. How are you? While I wait for Jordan to join in, I'm just going to ramble on about a bunch of stuff that nobody actually cares to listen to at the beginning because let's be real, you guys are not here for me, you're here for Jordan. Tonight, Jordan and I will be talking about the unspoken side of the entertainment industry. I'm really hoping he didn't forget about me. Hi, Sarab. Thank you. I'm sure you look beautiful as well, even though I can't see you right now. Hi, Leanne. I think that's Jordan calling me. 1 second. Hi, Jordan. I'm live waiting for you. Are you in here?
Okay, I'm coming on right now.
Oh, he's coming, guys. I'm not a liar. Okay, we'll see you soon.
All right, bye.
Bye. Whew. Whew. Just broke a sweat. Run into the phone. All right, he'll be here. Rocco's watching. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I've been working on it, but not recently because I'm in isolation. But thank you, Katrina. So Jordan will be here any second, guys. I'm really excited to talk to him. I honestly haven't seen this guy since high school. So it'll be fun. He's been up to big things, really, really big things. And I can't wait to chat with him. I just have to find him. And I don't know where he is. Thanks. I'm just going to wait for him. I might have to exit out and come back in. Oh, no, there he is. Whew. Jordan, you had me breaking a sweat. I thought you were standing up. Let's wait for him to join. This is so fun. Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, my God, I haven't seen you in years. You haven't aged a day. My God.
That's a positive thing. Yeah, good living keeps you young for sure.
Those
How are
jokes.
you?
I'm well. I'm very well. I broke a sweat running to the phone and coming back. I was like, he's gonna forget about me.
Oh gosh, no. I'm sorry about the tardiness.
I have Leanne here saying hi to you. Everyone's so excited to see you,
Yeah,
Jordan.
oh, it's so great. I love connecting with old pals from like back in the day because it just brings back those memories of like we grew up together, you
We did.
know? We grew up together like 100%.
Crazy.
And
You said Roy Park. I was like, oh my God.
that was the spot. That's where we like would spend our time after school, before school. So all good things for sure.
Definitely. Jordan, tell us, what have you been up to? Because you've been up to some pretty amazing things.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Where do I like? Are you talking like from the Roy Park days? Like, what?
Yeah. What happened,
Um,
Jordan? Where'd he go?
Hello.
Yeah. I said, where'd
Uh,
you go? Tell us.
uh, the full story. I mean, in a nutshell, sort of music has been sort of my guiding light, throughout life, and it started, back in the Roy Park days. I playing in bands back then, and then it kind of just went to the next level in high school. I took it a bit more serious. And then from there, that ruled my world for probably like 12 years during like high school, then afterwards as well. So for me, that's kind of like, like I just stuck to what I loved and then it opened up a lot of other, opportunities and paths. And I sort of just been able to bounce around. I've done some festival work, I've done, bookings for venues. I have a collective now that I co-founded with some friends called Music Art People. That's the video that you shared earlier.
Right.
And we do events where essentially we'll take artists from different disciplines and we'll, put them in the same event and, see how like live art works with the DJ, works with the musician. And yeah, and then from the music thing, from like playing in bands, I discovered that I want to dive more into DJing, which is a funny thing because I actually remember like back when I was like probably like 10 or 11, like I wanted to be a DJ and my mom just like wouldn't buy me the gear to do it. But she bought me a piano or keyboard actually, and then I got a bass guitar after that shortly. But I wish I would have started DJing when I was like 13. I started when I was like in my early 20s, and that's kind of been like my main focus for the last little while, DJing and then like production. So I've been learning about production and adding that into my DJ sets. But it's kind of crazy when I think about like how much time I've spent on this path, you know.
Yeah. And are you still, Jordan, able to do any of the DJing now, like during this time?
Yeah, so I mean, thankfully technology has enabled us to connect with people. So I've done a few live streams. The most recent one was on Friday, and that was a collaboration with Cornerstone Women's Shelter.
Okay.
So that was really neat. We raised over $1,000 for that cause, and it was really cool to share my passion, with people and kind of get people grooving from their spaces. And we have a few things planned. Nothing like in stone yet, but I'll definitely make some announcements for the next live streams that we'll do for sure.
That's awesome. I
And
can't.
I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted on that.
Yeah, keep me posted. Now, I know we said we were going to kind of talk about how music can dictate a few things, right? It can dictate culture, mood, um, and the unfortunate side of that industry is things like drug use, assault, and wherever that can progress to. Um, do you feel like the music that you're now sort of involved with takes away from those areas?
Does music got involved with take away from those areas? I wouldn't say the music takes away from it, but I think just that understanding that these are real things that happen in club spaces. People are being assaulted, and there's drug abuse, there's alcohol abuse. All these things are very like prevalent. Does the music take away from it? I don't know. I mean, I think I think it's everywhere, I think it's in any kind of genre of music, you'll find those things. I think what takes away from it is community. And I think people speaking up and not being afraid to like ask someone if they're okay, like recognizing someone might be in trouble in those kind of situations and speaking up. I think those things take away. I feel like there's been a really big push for keeping spaces safe, which I'm a big advocate for. And I feel like, that's a big part of it too. It's just, being aware, if you're throwing events, being aware that these are issues, and then just taking those, proper steps to mitigate that. And, there's many people in the city who do a great job of doing that. Cody Coyote's on the stream right now. Like he's a big advocate for that kind of stuff too. So, yeah, I think yeah, just keep being educated about it and then kind of making those steps to kind of keep your people safe
Yeah,
and kicking people out if people are like being inappropriate. Like you have to like be like you're not welcome here because a lot of people come to events with this sort of like vibrato where they're like they're gonna I don't know fight somebody and just like bring a whole negative vibe, and I feel like that stuff is tolerated back in like when we were in high school back in like '04, '05, but now people like don't have time for it, and like I don't have time for it as like a presenter or a DJ, and and there's no space for that. If you want to be an asshole, stay home. Like,
fair, fair
you
enough.
know,
And and I know you said like the back in high school, and that was sort of the thing that we. But do you think that the music that we would listen to back in high school sort of endorsed that type of behavior? Um,
yeah, 100%. I mean, like, if you think back to some of those videos, that like, think back to any, 50 Cent or Ja Rule, that program of like, a woman in a bikini, or even before that, like, Biggie, like, Tupac, all these people, great, amazing artists, but I mean, like, kind of feeding into that machine of like, this is what's cool, this is what's accepted, this is what's tolerated, and I think you see that over time, that kind of just feeds into how you operate and how you act, and what you think is cool, and a lot of people like think that's like what life is. They think that's what the music industry is. That's what making a video is, and it can be so much more than that. And I think that's just like a played out. That's so played out. But at this point, it's like, come on, like, are we really doing this again? you know. But I think that's like and yeah, that definitely plays into it. That plays into people feeling like they can speak to women a certain way or just conducting themselves in a way that's not cool, but because 50 Cent did it or because whoever did it, it's like all of a sudden it's like I can do it too, emulating what we think is like cool, but it's all it's all a program, and it's all just kind of like an illusion, if you will.
so the type of music that you're kind of around now, like you said, it's more music to art type of music.
I mean, I'm around it all. Like, I mean, like, what my passion, is making, house music and doing that. But I mean, I play, the wide spectrum of music. So I'm around it all, and I love it all. You know, I mean, I love great hip hop or even trap. Like I'm a fan of music in whatever shape it kind of comes in. I'm able to decipher like, okay, like, I don't want to live that lifestyle. I'm not going to pretend to be someone I'm not. But I mean, I'm a fan. I'm a student of music, so I don't discriminate in that sort of respect.
That's fair. Do you think that it dictates the type of drug use? I know you mentioned sort of like 50 Cent, Ja Rule, and back when we were growing up, and I know that back then there was never, we, maybe we were just very naive, or I was very naive, but I don't think there was ever this wide selection of drugs that are being used at these types of events that there is now. Is that because of sort of the evolution of drug use or music in itself?
I think it's just where we were. Like, to be honest, like, I mean, so if we're going back to like when we were like old enough to go out to a club, like, I mean, that the rave scene was like popping off. Like there were like the parties, I feel like, were way bigger back then. I'm sure there's people on the feed who could speak to that. Like that stuff has been around. We just maybe weren't around it, in our circles. But I don't think the drug use has gotten, I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's someone who could speak on that, but I don't think it's more so than what it was. It's just, maybe, we know it's a thing now. And obviously, like I'm doing events, like I know what's going on. But, even 50 Cent songs and Ja Rule, like they're talking about doing ecstasy. Like I didn't like at the time, I was like,
Yeah, really?
I didn't clue
Yeah.
in, but I mean, it's been around and I don't think it's going anywhere, but I think the big thing now is, what we can do is if people are going to do those drugs, there's drug, kits, test your stuff. Like fentanyl is a big thing now, you know what I mean? Like no one's trying to get their shit spiked. So, I mean, it's just like that sort of openness of like knowing it's a reality and just taking that responsibility to make sure you're safe. And I don't think drugs are worse than alcohol. Like these are all, people do them. It's a reality. And I think just being responsible with it is, is the way to be.
I agree. I think you have to be sort of, you have to know what's there. But my hesitation comes from by being accepting to everyone's choices, are we crippling them in any way to sort of get better or get off of these substances? Or we're not really helping them by saying, I know you're doing it, just make sure you're safe.
Well, I don't know if that's our responsibility to like, dictate if someone wants to do drugs or drink. You know what I mean? Like I'm not a drug counselor, I'm just, if you want to do it, like do it, like whatever, but just be safe about it. And, I'm not going to dictate what someone wants to do with their life. You know what I mean? That's not my stance. I'm there for like, creating a space, where people feel comfortable. And if they want to do that, do it, but just be safe for everyone's sake, and for your own sake.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to get that call that like so-and-so is in the hospital. Like, I mean, it's just like, it's too real. And I think, anyone who's on the stream, like people have experienced it before and it's really sad. So
Do you think that now with COVID and people who would be attending these types of events are trapped at home, do you think they're in a position where they may be going through things like, I don't know, withdrawals or not being in that safe space that could have protected them? They're now overindulging in these substances when they could have been more controlled somewhere like an event that you would throw.
yeah, I don't think so. No, I mean, because again, like, I feel like if you're gonna do drugs and drink at an event, that was happening at a venue in the city, and you have that need to do that, then you're probably gonna do it at home. And whether you do, maybe you're doing more out there because like there's that hypeness of like, oh, I want to keep up with the crowd. Maybe I don't know. It's hard to say. I feel like I mean liquor sales are through the roof. Like I know that's
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I mean. So like I don't know. With regards to like drugs. How I mean, well, I live downtown. Like there's a fucking sorry swearing, but like
Okay.
the weed store is the lineup down the street. So I mean, uh, people are gonna do what they're gonna do, whether they're at home or they're at a club space. I do think that when people are out with other people, there's that sort of peer pressure to feel like they need to partake. So maybe they don't have that temptation anymore, you know, or maybe there's that friend who's like, all right, like I got this, like, do you want to do it with me? Like, I mean, I get that obviously like peer pressure is a real thing and maybe they're not dealing with that now. But I do know people are getting loose, regardless of their, you know, home or, you know, at an event.
Fair enough, and I think that's valid based off just sort of what you see out your door, right?
100%. I mean, or just what you hear in the news, right? Like I have friends who work for alcohol companies and they're like, they've met their goals. Like they're like, you know, like, I mean, things are down. Obviously bar sales are down, but I mean, people are still buying, you know,
Yeah.
they're getting their supply, you know,
It's
so.
essential. It's essential for some. That's for
Well, it's an essential service. Like, I mean, the government has deemed it as essential, and I get that. Obviously, like withdrawal is a real thing, and no one's trying to deal with like you know COVID plus people going through withdrawal and all that you know craziness. So,
How are you dealing with COVID, Jordan?
I mean, I have my you know my good days and my bad days. I think you know I've gotten into a routine, you know, which has been nice. Where, like I'll work on music. You know, I devoted 20 minutes a day to just dance. You know, to kind of get my you know moving in that way as well. But I'm liking it. Like it's you know I like being at home with my family. It's really interesting playing gigs, you know, whereas before I'd be home at like, you know, 3, 4, you know, after the gig. But now it's like I'll do the gig and then I'll take 10 steps and like walk into my living room and like chill with my wife. Like, so, I mean, to be honest, like I'm kind of like, shit, like, can I keep this going? Like, I might try to be a home DJ and just do these online things for as long as I can. But all in all, like things are good. Like I'm doing a bit of work from home and obviously I miss people, I miss friends. You know, it's weird seeing your friends and family not being able to hug them and embrace them like you normally would. So it's these things that kind of like throw me off. But you know, it could be worse. I mean, I have internet. We all have internet. You know, we have food. You know, we're like, you know, like we're pretty privileged. Let's be real.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
agree. And I was saying that the other day to somebody. I said, you know, and I look around at people at other countries who can't even take a step outside their door without like an officer sort of pushing them back in, and we're getting upset about like little things being taken away from us. As upsetting as that still is, we have to acknowledge our privilege, you know, being in this country and having the resources we have. Um, I wanted to ask you if you're willing to go there. Have you thought at all on COVID potentially being something other than COVID?
um, are we getting to conspiracy stuff now? Is this where we're
Yeah,
going?
yeah. I kind
I
of
mean, I don't know. I mean, like obviously, like you know, I've been on like my screen time is through the roof. So yes, I've seen the 5G, you know, conspiracy talk, and I don't know. I mean, like you know, it's possible. I mean, I'm not like out ruling that stuff. I'm trying not to feed into it too much. I mean, to be honest, like I think that's a bit of a spiral, and you know, I don't know if I'm willing to go there right now.
that's
Uh, but I mean, how? What are your thoughts on that? Like, do you have other thoughts of COVID and what this might be?
I struggle. I think I stand in the middle. I feel like I understand the severity of it and what I need to do to sort of prevent the severity of it from infiltrating my home and my family's homes and stuff like that. But there's always that wonder, and I think that it's okay to wonder, but you need to know when to say like my mind's wandering too far, and now I need to stop for my own health and my own mental health, and I try not to go too far out because it does create a sense of hysteria, right?
For sure, for sure. And I don't think that's a good thing. Like when you're like isolated and like trapped inside, you know, like kind of like going down that conspiracy route because yeah, it's just not healthy. Um, but who knows? All I know is, you know, I think now is the time, and like again, just from the privilege kind of standpoint, it's like, you know, if anything, now's the time to like connect with your friends and your family, and you know, and to maybe spend that extra time that you might have on those little projects that you've had in the back of your mind, because if not now, then when? You know what I mean? And to start those routines, because and to not start the wrong routines, I think like or the wrong habits because those things are hard to break.
Right.
So I think, yeah, just, you know, as much as we can, just kind of like be mindful of our time and how we're spending it and taking something for yourself, like self-care. Like, I mean, you know, when stuff opens back up, you know, it's back to work full time for everybody. It's like go, go, go. So if you have like a bit of time to invest in yourself, I think now's the time to do that and to keep it going afterwards too.
Well, And that was another thing I wanted to ask you, because I know, like, while everyone's kind of trapped in isolation, I have this theory, and I've always had it, that music sort of dictates my mood.
Hmm.
And I know that, I can, if I'm feeling sad, I'll put on a certain type of music and I'll listen to that, and then I'll go through all those feels, and then I'll, pop on something a little more cheery. And I wanted to ask you, do you have anything, Jordan? Can you take us through, like, an array of emotions right now? By playing,
Musically,
yeah, by playing,
I'm not prepared to do that at the moment. But what I could do is I can definitely make a playlist and you can share it with
yeah,
your followers, and we can touch on all those emotions or songs and things that resonate with me.
yeah,
I'm always open to that stuff too. If you're in the feed, like post up the songs that you're loving right now, so we know like what's going on. Like what are you loving, and
yeah.
yeah, let's. Music is all about sharing, so let's share it and let's all be inspired.
Well, it's funny. My girlfriend, she always tells me she tunes into Chris Brown.
Okay,
Time. She's like, I've been listening to a lot of Chris Brown because he makes me feel good, and I'm like, oh, I haven't even. The last time I thought of Chris Brown was like way back.
for sure, for sure, for sure.
But it's it's kind of cool to see, like where your mind will go and what it'll make you remember during this time. And are you able to see your family at all, like your mom, your sister?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm trying to think of the last time I saw my sister. I mean, it's been a few weeks since I saw my sister. I saw my mom today. Just briefly, kind of, a little social distance. Hey, what's up? But it's my sister's birthday tomorrow, so I might try to run up on her and give her my best from a social distance. But no, to be honest, like I haven't really seen as many people as I'd like to. I've been doing more FaceTimes and that kind of stuff, but actually in person, I haven't really seen my people in a while. It's been like a month.
Yeah, fair
Yeah.
enough. I feel you. We're kind of the same way, and it's it's hard, but I hope that it doesn't become our normal. That's my only hope.
For sure. And I think, if it is, I mean, like I said, it's like you just have to make time to change it. Like, so if that means going for a walk with your parents or your friends, like, make that time to see them, you know, just do it.
I agree. I agree, Jordan. With the nature of your industry, bringing it back to that, how do you think, or how long do you think it'll take before you can fill a space with more than 10 people?
I mean, I feel like my industry in particular, like, we're going to be the last people to, like, get back to work. You know what I mean? Like, parties and events and concerts. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, they're saying like festivals like in 2021, like so I don't know. I'm trying not to think about it too much, but I feel like yeah, it's we're in it for the long haul, which is why I think we need to utilize community online, and we can still share our passions through the screen. And so honestly, like my mind is going there right now. I just want to embrace technology and kind of find ways to stay connected in that way. And then when events and parties can happen and things are safe, and we'll go from there. But I'm also not trying to rush it too. Like I don't want to put people in danger. If the government was like next week we're good to go, like I would probably hold off for a little while just to make
Yeah,
sure it's safe. I don't want to be like responsible for folks being harmed in any kind of way.
yeah. Were you doing anything else, Jordan? I know you had mentioned to me that you were doing a bit of management as well.
Yeah. So I mean, other things I'm doing right now. So like currently, I have a contract with CKCU. That's a radio station at Carleton. So that's been really nice working with them and that team. When everything closed down, I was, booking for a venue and kind of managing a stage and doing that. And then obviously the stuff with Music Art People, we had some really big events that unfortunately had to be canceled. We had a collaboration with the Nature Museum,
Yeah.
which was like we worked so hard for 4 years, and finally like things are like we're there, we've arrived, and then it's like psych, shit's closed down. So yeah, like that's like it's super hard to obviously deal with it. But I mean, at the same time, I mean, again, like as hard as it is, like it's really like these things will happen when they happen, and I'm not stressing it.
Yeah, I
You know.
agree. It's frustrating because I think we're all focused on our like individual worlds. And then the second you sort of step out of that and you broaden your horizon, you're like, well, wait a minute. This is like so much bigger than me and what I'm going through. And then I don't want to say you find comfort in that, but in a way you do because you know that you're not sort of traveling through this hardship on your own. It's really everybody, and I
For
think
sure, for
for
sure.
the first time we're not separated by race, religion, um, anything. There's nothing dividing us right now because everybody is essentially in the same position.
100%. I agree with you. I think, yeah, we're all in this together, and I think it's important to realize that. And I think after this too, it's like, if we're feeling this sort of oneness, this feeling of global community, I think it should carry on afterwards, and hopefully people can be a bit more friendly and a bit more understanding to the fact that we're all just trying to get through the day.
I agree.
We're all just trying to make it, and I think that's a big thing. It's like, this whole idea that like you're better than somebody because you're a certain race or you're a certain, you make a certain amount of money. It's like that's all such bullshit. And at the end of the day, it's like kindness is like the only true currency. So I think just having an open heart and just being aware that people may have it worse than you, and like as bad as things might be, like they could be worse, you know, and someone's probably living that. So that's like the real thing to keep in mind, I think.
It's so true. Have you been able to stay creative
A
without?
hundred percent, yeah, 100%. I'm seeing right here, Chill Lover Radio. So, with Music Art People, we run two radio shows, and we host one with Chill Lover Radio. They're stationed out of New York, so that's been like really nice. We've been able to put the spotlight on other local DJs and international DJs, and sort of share their sound with our community. So that's been like a really nice thing to be able to dive into that kind of music. I've been recording a lot of mixes that I'm planning to release. And yeah, just like I'm finding now is like I'm very creative, and like I'm just like I'm in that zone to like just do it because I'm not distracted. So
Right.
I'm just trying to like build on that momentum because I know like again like you get those routines down, and then like once you lock it in, and like again that's big kudos to what you're doing. I think a big part of like making to the next level is just finding that like regular routine. So if it's like 2 hours a day or 3 hours a day or an hour a day, those hours, they add up, and before you know it, you have like 10,000 hours of like mastery. You know it, you own your domain, and so I'm just trying to like keep it going because as much as I know in the music world, like I'm still a student. As much as I aspire to be this amazing producer, there's technical things that like I'm still learning. So I'm taking that time to learn, and just kind of get there because it's possible. And like the only person that's standing in my way is me,
Yeah.
you know.
And I once heard someone say to me, "You're always a student. You're always a student, right? You'll be somebody's teacher, but even then, you're somebody's student."
And
And
then
so
even then, when you are that teacher, it's like you can learn from that student. You
exactly,
know what I mean? It's that give and take, and I think that's the motto in life. It's like you just always keep that in mind of like I can learn, I can grow from this, and I think that's like one of the secrets to keeping it going and to build.
I agree. And I think like I love the fact that I come on here every night and I talk to a new person every night and I hear their perspectives and the conversation's always jumping from one area to another and unfortunately that's just my ADD, but I try to keep it under control as much as I can. But I love it because I find I always take away from everybody I talk to. Maybe not right when I end the chat, but then I'll sit in a little bit of reflection and think about the conversation. And I'm like, wow, you can gain knowledge, gain inspiration from every single person you chat with, and just open your eyes to a different area, like music and like how music can be so therapeutic and can inspire you to create. If you're not into creating music, maybe it's art. Use the music to help you create the art.
100%, 100%. And on that topic, like I think that's it. Like you hit it on the head. It's like find that practice. So if it's drawing, maybe your thing is sewing or tapestry or I don't know, like whatever it is, like explore it because those things are so good for your mental health and just like your overall well-being. And I think if you've ever been curious about these things, it's like just you owe it to yourself to at least try it. And not to say you're going to be like the Van Gogh, whatever, but you'll be yourself. You're you. You know what I mean? Like you are you. Celebrate that and just and grow with it and learn from that. But yeah, now's the time to like tap into any kind of artistic expression because these are the things that I think keep us youthful. I think they kind of keep us in tune with like what's real. and it's just good. It's a good thing. It's a good practice.
Well, and it's funny how you reference Van Gogh because I think that, yes, he's this amazing artist and so highlighted and celebrated, but he was really just everyday people, right?
Totally, totally.
Every name in history, they were just somebody's neighbor or somebody's relative, and who is anybody really, you know?
For
So
sure, for
I think
sure.
build yourself up to whatever you believe you can become, and putting limitations on ourselves because we're not great or great to our capacity, or we don't think we're as great as the Van Goghs. Now we'll never be able to allow ourselves to become that. You have to just aspire greatness from the beginning.
100% infinite ceiling. I think putting caps on things is like the worst thing we can do. And I think, yeah, like true potential, it's like you really don't know the magnitude of like your presence and like what your art might do and who it might inspire. So I think just being very aware of that like, the people that we celebrate, like you said, people that we celebrate are just people that just do what they do. And it's, often it's like when they die, we're like, oh, that person was great. Oh, you remember so and so, they were great. But when they were living, they were just living their lives and they were just doing what they had to do to kind of get by. So, yeah, I think, don't aspire to be someone else, just be you.
Yeah.
And I think that's what resonates with people the most. When I see an artist who's just like doing something that I've never seen before, I'm like, that's dope, and that's what I'm drawn to.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people will feel that too.
I agree. I agree. You're always looking for, I don't want to say the next best thing, but just the next best thing to catch your attention or to divert it somewhere else, and realize that the potential is so much bigger than what you thought it initially was.
Hmm.
Jordan, you come a long way since I've last seen you. You've done so much. You're married now.
Thank you
Congratulations.
so much.
Have you guys ever considered or wanted to go down the line of starting your own family? Is that something you guys wanted to
Yeah, yeah.
start?
I mean, we started with the dog. I think it's like that's a good place to be. But yeah, we definitely talked about having a family, and yeah, I definitely see myself as a father, and I would love to raise a kid with my lovely wife. So yeah, it's definitely it's in our plans for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
This whole pandemic hasn't changed that for you at all?
No, I don't think so. I think we'll get past it. I think, things will be different, when things go back to however they go back. But with that being said, I'm looking to kind of keep some of these routines of like being at home and making dinners and having that sort of connection because I think it's important. And I think before, like, as great as things were, and like things were popping off and like honestly, like it was like, I mean, you spend like a lifetime getting to a certain point and then it's kind of like taken away. But I mean, I know that like these things are possible now, and I don't doubt that. I don't have that doubt. It's like I can do it. It's there if I want it. But what I really want is to invest more time, with my family, with my friends, and to not like just be like scatterbrained. Like, okay, I gotta do this. I gotta go here. I gotta run here. I gotta do this. Like, it's just like, come on. Like, when does it end?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm taking with me. Like with shit goes back, like it's great, but I am taking more time to like really um, dive into like, my friends and my family and just be, just be and just not look for the next thing. Just be in the moment, be present.
I love that. I think that's something that a lot of people are finding right now is the unfortunate event, but caused a little bit of a positivity within everybody, and the recognition that we need to change certain things, and our lifestyles, sorry, were not really sustainable at the rate that we were going. It's like technology was speeding up, and so were we to keep up with it, and I think it's a nice, pause and reset. And we'll see where it goes. And I can't wait to see where you sort of take everything after this because I feel like you're so creative that you will come up with a way to not let your industry sort of, you know, slow down. I think you're very innovative and I admire that. I respect it a lot.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I mean, the fortunate thing with me is, I'm working in this industry, but there's a lot of people who are pushing, to keep things going, and so yeah, I'm inspired by that too. I see a lot of stuff, and I'm like, oh wow, like, like that's possible. I never thought about that. So yeah, it's kind of like this sort of there's give and take, but like we're all working together, and I think we'll find sustainable ways to share what we love and to kind of keep the inspiration going. Because I can't imagine a world without music and art and people sharing what they love. That's not going anywhere, regardless of what
No,
happens.
exactly. It's not. Definitely not. Jordan, thank you so much for doing this with me. I love that we were
Yes,
able to connect.
yeah, me too. Roy Park, Orleans. we, yeah, we really go back. Like you're like honestly, like when I first moved to Ottawa from Halifax, I feel like you and Amanda Smith and the other people who we won't name, but these are like you were my first friends. So I really appreciate that, and it's really great to see you doing what you're doing and inspiring so many people. With your passion. So keep it going.
Thank you, Jordan. Thank you for inspiring so many people with your passion because I know that, again, music's always been sort of my outlet, and I love that you're producing the stuff that you're producing, and I just find it amazing. So I wanted to highlight you. And I also just wanted to see you again because it's been so.
It's been so long, for sure, for sure.
Take care, Jordan. We'll
You
talk to
too.
you soon. Say hi to your wife for me. Have a good night and sleep.
All right. You too. Peace.
Bye. Guys, that was amazing. Jordan's such an amazing spirit. He has done so well for himself, and I'm so proud of him. Tomorrow night, I'll be talking with Hassan Gemma on 5G. It will be quite the interesting conversation. If anybody knows me, they know I like to debate, so that'll be fun. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Oh, shit.